Rob Talbert has worked in jails, bars, cruise ships, and bookstores, and earned his MFA from Virginia Tech University, somewhere in between. His poems have appeared or are forthcoming in Alaska Quarterly, American Poetry Review, Boxcar, Forklift, Ninth Letter, Passages, North, Painted Writing Quarterly, Poets War, Sal's Year's Review, Verse Daily, and others. He has been nominated twice for a Pushcart and numerous times for Best New Poets, and his first book, Jagged Tune, is forthcoming from MadHat Press. Rob Talbert, everyone.
Announcements. Attention customers. The store will close in 15 minutes. Sooner or later, we all return home. The store must return to a silence upon whose fringes we merely dance. We close tonight because all things end. Songs, an empire, most love. This sentence ends. Do not mistake this for proof of God. Do not look the employees in the eye. Some have been hit by a hurricane of dreams. You're staring, your small talk, remind them the cement around their ankles is drying, that 1 trillion heartbeats have come and gone. Minimum wage is a deeply planted knife. Keeping registers haunt us in our sleep. Attention customers, please make your final selections and bring them to the front of the store for purchase. This goes for lost children, the penniless, the heartbroken, shoplifters, the man in aisle 9 exposing himself to his girlfriend. What we do in our minds is a dark carnival of mirrors and sharp candy, hidden rampage where the fire burns hottest. I have devastated friends and family, have no right to my anger, paralysis, starvation, no desolate landscape to contend with. But you drive safe, take care, never forget the promises you have made to yourself. Advice like that is safe. Most of the things on our shelves can kill. Certainty without the word certainty. A man approaches a bar. This is a sentence. His movements and desires for rum. Each step met with a new word. And depending on how people watch him is how severe of the rain and what to call it. A man approaches the bar and creates a storm. I hold avocados in a market and am rephrased by other shoppers as a man wishing he'd stay in Tijuana. A man approaches the bar and doesn't need this moment explained. Perhaps the shunning of better language is just another way we are polite in public. The inaccuracy intentional. And I was like, see that guy? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I bet he's going through some stuff. I don't need the word drink to reach for one, nor lust to be delirious about a woman's hips, but perfect and careen and lever that moves the world are fine substitutions for both. When we rolled around in the night Dakota grass, that lost faraway girl must solicit other words for rolling around in the night Dakota grass. Her hands, different sizes than my own, her direction to wind alternate to my own. The memory is never mindful of its palace or place, depending on your affinity for A's. After all, if only the right memories and sentences stuck around, our heads would be a Taj Mahal, which was also built for a lost faraway girl. A man approaches the bar, and I build a palace in my head. This sentence is the chameleon's skin. And I was like, man, this guy must have been really hurt when she died. And he was like, yeah. I once saw a drag queen smear red lipstick on the face of a lion. The cops came running and took him away, dress caught up around the knees and yelling about his father. The Texas sun beat down all pissed off as usual, so the zoo gave us ice cream and new hats. That kind of thing stays in the mind, like a beating in an alleyway, only to resurface years later, but I'm still young, watching a girlfriend stare in a rearview mirror, or coming home early from school and catching my father wearing only a slip. That really fucking happened. Explore the night was dark and cool and filled with creatures quietly watching. In aquatic land, an employee struggled to explain to us why a shark was eating its young. There is always a cage, a pane of glass, a decisive no, a hierarchy of flesh, a room you can enter and a room you can't. Love becomes a sugar-pumped child, unchaperoned and running crazy, trying all the doors. When the school bus took us home, I watched the wheat fields, golden and barely waist level, stream past the window. I remembered the lion, and I pictured him plunging freely through the fields, shining and sprinting away from some long-shredded carcass, his stomach packed with raw meat, lips of full rouge. Accountability. It rains and then it stops. Then it rains and then it stops. When I think of a storm, I think persistence, alive as rumor. But the storm outside is not my definition, stopping and starting and stopping again, like a prowling animal with broken instincts. If I don't know a storm, what else have I defined too narrowly, judged too quickly? Which people do I remember wrong or not at all? How I prefer the world made bearable. I was in love once. That's a lie I tell myself. Over the fence of my own body to wash away the million times I did love into a context I can handle. And I lie about being okay with my life so far and so much that my wife is concerned about my drinking. Some days the morning sun slams into the hills so violently I think the land might sing. But then someone lays on a car horn outside and I listen to that instead. Cutting away is a form of survival, a way of coloring within the lines. Otherwise, there's no room for anything. I start here, I stop here. And once, in Bermuda, I discovered my own name carved into a church. In one sense. Strange how the animals haven't all turned on us yet. And strange that saying, "It came out of nowhere," still paints a picture of how it arrived. Strange how the headlights tracing the spine of the land suggest resolve is electrical, jumping from person to person. Strange that I didn't turn out to be the man I thought I'd be. Strange that I can be fined for not having enough money. Strange how one's truest desires seem hilarious when said aloud. Strange how writing, painting, all art is just different kinds of dragging. Strange how I'm willing to leave so much behind. Strange how I want to commit crimes and be caught committing them. Strange how there's nothing like panic, like a good chase. Strange how the love I've sent out in droves hasn't benefited me more. Yet strange how my deceit hasn't gotten me killed. Strange how a weightless breath carries so much. Strange that fire is not a more embraced symbol of fragility. Strange how a guitar is shaped like a woman, yet I hear nothing when I strum her back. Strange how we all remember things differently. Bonham Exchange nightclub. If you're ever in San Antonio, go to the Bonham Exchange night. Woo! Closer and closer two bodies get, but the skin will stop them. Just as the net beneath the trapeze will stop the fall. The spirit wants more than the body can handle, and will pour forth from the mouth, honest and wild. Some men reach out and hold other men like clouds, a strength succumb into the presence of a different strength. But pain is always the same, just as anger sears all blood the same. Sex is also the same, but identity is the road in which you get there. There are thousands of ways you could live your life, and they are all in this club, this room of changing and overflowing light, in the faces of everyone impossible to ignore like a bomb dropped. The truth is we are all swarmed by equal measures of disgust and contempt, and easily forget the body found cold amongst the trees could be anyone. Botany. Lena had an abortion today. Her first. Johnny's third. She leaned back on the loud and brittle paper while Johnny sat in the waiting room watching war movies. And far away in Mexico, the agave harvesters continue tearing along, avoiding the sap that burns and itches the skin severely. Some workers claim to still feel the effects of the burn 1 year later, its ghost lingering. They used the forceps in Lena because she was over 12 and a half weeks and the vacuum wasn't allowed. That night she came over to swim in tequila. I remember as a kid walking beside the bushes in the neighborhood. I'd grab a leaf and keep walking, holding it tight in my hand as the plant bent, feeling the tension, the build, the pull, the wait, and of course, it snapped. Tuesday. I once dreamt I stood in line at Walmart for half an hour. And once in real life, I ran from a pack of wild dogs. I could switch those around, you know. I could say it was the pack of dogs I dreamt chasing me through the afternoon haystacks, but that might drain all immediacy from my life. Work has ceased. I've come home to my shadows, cheap wine, to my shirts folded, pressed, and beautiful. The night wind carries through the blinds, police sirens wailing louder than a victim cornered. I live in a time of wonders, and the dogs have picked up speed. Thank you for listening.